I'm Ryan Newman, and since I started with Indiana Donor Network and Driven to Save Lives, I found out that some people think that they can't be an organ donor. The truth is, anyone can sign up to be an organ donor.
Anyone?
Anyone?
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Anyone can sign up to be an organ donor. So don't count yourself out because somebody's counting on you. Go to driventosavelives.org and sign up today.
But my heart's going to you, Ryan.
Love that shirt.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. Another night of iRacing action here on the National Racing Network. Tonight, the stars and cars of the Indy Pro 2000 Championship are going to take on the Okayama International Circuit. Oh my goodness, I cannot wait to bring this one to you folks. The D-Class race that just ran was incredible. You don't want to go anywhere and miss that race because holy crap was it good. This one is going to be, I think, just as good. My name is Chris Graham, joined in the booth tonight by James Watson, as always, and Mr. Christian Jasper. Boys, this one's going to be good here. James, tell us what you're thinking here as we get ready to roll out for qualifying.
Well, you know, we don't have a whole lot of time around Okayama in this series. We've raced it a couple times, but it has been a while since we've been here. But the couple times we have been here, it put on a spectacular show. So I'm glad that we're back in this track. I've always considered this a really underrated racing circuit. I feel like this provides a lot of passing opportunities. A lot of tough corners that you really got to wheel the car around. Like, the entire second and third sector, it's not easy to get through. So it's always a lot of fun to watch these cars go through there.
Yeah, and Christian, based on what we've seen already here tonight, Okayama is going to do some wonderful things around this place. The Indy Pro PM18, it's the same Tatu's car as we saw in the USF2000s, but 100 more horsepower. I think that's really going to come into play here.
It absolutely is, and no spoilers, but like we saw in the USF2000 race, it can be real easy to get that back end loose on this car. You just gotta be a little bit more careful in the Indy Pro. I personally did a race here not too long ago in one of the officials, and it's not easy to master. It's easy to at least get the hang of and to really start to learn the flow of it, especially with how the track falls away and then comes back to you. But in the Indy Pro, if you put a tire wrong, or if you are just a little bit too excited to get back on the throttle, this track will bite you, and it'll bite hard.
Yeah, it's going to bite you in a very big way if you screw this up whatsoever. We're following along here with Carter Lundy. New paint scheme for Carter Lundy here. The old Hollywood colors. I believe Big Mo, Mauricio Gugelmin, ran this paint scheme in the kart series for quite a few years. Maybe even Tony Kanaan may have run it a little bit as well, but cool new look
Big
for
Mo.
Carter. Yeah, Big Mo. Carter Lundy.
Mark Blundell.
Yeah, that's right. Mark Blundell ran this one too. Man, we're going throwback already here. Ted Burns is in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. Only car on the racetrack right now that has not turned in an out lap is Ryan Hammond. We'll see how his is going to develop here. Got to remind everybody, give us a shout in the comments. Let us know where you're watching from. Hopefully you are enjoying the show. We can get your comments up on the screen, whether you're watching on YouTube or on Twitch. If you feel like contributing to the broadcast, we appreciate it. Buy Christian a beer and James whatever it is he's drinking, a purple Powerade or something. You can do that via Super Chats.
Mountain Dew voltage, baby.
Yes, that is exactly what James Watson would be drinking on a Thursday night. Ted Burns is, well, he's still on the outlap. Carter Lundy outgoing quick time on lap number 1. 1 minute 24.063. Porcelli, Daly, Paddock, Holt, the top 5 as it stands right now.
I bet you Lundy can break 23 on this next lap. This track is very nice to you on the second lap once the brakes and the tires are warm.
It's going to be interesting. He's already down towards the end of his second qualifying lap. Everybody is out on the racetrack right now, including Ryan Hammond. This place is so easy to get lost at as a broadcaster. You think you're coming to the end of the lap when you're really not. There's pit entry, so now we're coming through this double kind of right-hand. I guess it's 2 separate corners, but it kind of drives like one. Carter Lundy coming off the final corner. He will see the checkered flag to complete his qualification run. What can he do with lap number 2? How about 123.792? That lap was a monster. David Porcelli making his way down pit lane will pick up Nicholas Daly. He's third quick on the board right now. Everett Paddock, Richard Holt, the top 5. Good lap for Carl Lemke. We're going to put him up to the 6th position, currently sitting about 8/10 back of your pole sitter. Nicholas Daly, lap number 2 was good, but nowhere near good enough. He's a half second back, 124.306.
Boy, I hope somebody took a fire extinguisher to Lundy's car. He is on fire tonight.
Yeah, that was that lap was good. G-U-D, good. I'm really interested to see what Ted Burns can do here with his second lap, though, because this one could be an absolute screamer. Wes Shire making it back into this split as well. Let's pick up the Homestead Coffee Roasters number 16. Get him up in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. Tales from Rootcon also on the side of that machine for the Poughkeepsie, New York native. Teddy B, he's a busy man. It's real-world racing season for him. He is on the road basically Sunday through Wednesday. He is getting absolutely no time during the actual race week to drive the car in real-world conditions. That's going to be interesting to watch what he can do. Wes Shire completes his lap, does not change, no improvement. Lap number 2 for Ted Burns. How about 2 1/1000ths faster than his last lap? That's ridiculous.
And he still doesn't improve position. That's nuts.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
This could be a very big night for Carter Lundy in terms of the points. Our buddy 90210 is checking in already in the comments here. Let's see. We'll get this one up here. A tasty beverage. Yes. Man, I could go for a tasty beverage right now. Maybe a little barley hops and water. God, that sounds good. Why do they call it a
tasty beverage?
I see what you did there, James. That was cute. Why do they call it a pole sitter? I guess it's better than a pole dancer. Possibly. Depending on who you're talking to. 35 seconds left in qualifying. Wes Shire finishing up his final lap here. He'll be down the front straightaway, and we will end qualification. See what lap number 2 is going to look like for Wes. Last lap does not improve, so he will remain in the 16th position. Waiting to see, Wes is out here now. He's going to keep screaming along here for the final 10 seconds or so. But Matthew Gracie will not get a lap in. Car number 18 will line up in the 18th position here this evening. As there you go, qualifications are over. It is time to go racing. Let's take a look here and see who we can pull up. There we go. Let's get you the starting lineup here. 18 cars spread across 9 rows, and it will be Carter Lundy lining up alongside Nicholas Daly. Hot lap there for Daly. Good run for him to put the car on the outside of the front row and out-qualify teammate Ted Burns for one of the first times this season. David Porcelli, Everett Paddock on row number 2. My God, this race is going to be good. Top 2 rows are stacked. Row 3 just as good. Ted Burns and Richard Holt. Holt once again running those Target lightning bolts on the side of his number 10 machine here this evening. Row number 4 will have Ryan Hammond and Carl Lemkool. Row 5, Nagisio Shikawa and Alexander Wesley Hazelworth, the law firm, starting in position number 10. Row number 6 will have Rod Eskew lining up alongside Brian Labarge. Row 7, Mike Holler and Stephen C. Thompson. A couple of good-looking race cars there on the 7th row. Row 8 will have Stuart Vaughn in the Ferrari livery. Oh no, it's a F1 livery on an Indy Pro car. Game on, baby. Wes Shire is going to line up to his outside, starting in the 16th position. Final row tonight will have Simon Fell in the TNT Shock Series colors, lining up alongside the number 18 of Matthew Gracie. Taking a look at the weather conditions tonight, 78-degree air temp, 80-degree track temperature. It is clear, calm, and gorgeous here for this race here tonight. We are looking forward to it in a big way. Taking a look at the point standings here for the broadcast series. Forgot to update the graphic. Ted Burns leading Carter Lundy, David Porcelli, Nicholas Daly, and Everett Paddock. After 9 of 12 races are complete, just a handful to go here. This one is going to be a good one. Field's going to make their way through the final couple of right-hand corners, and we will be ready to get this race underway. What does Carter Lundy decide to do for the start here? The pace car makes the hard right-hand turn. Field is under the control of Lundy. It is his call when to go. And as always, race fans, the start of this one going to be all yours. Oh, we got trouble towards the back of the pack. I think Ted Burns may be, well, he's in the middle of it with teammate Nicholas Daly. Daly bobbled a little bit. Carter Lundy has a huge lead now. And we have stacked everybody up there 2 by 2 halfway through the field.
Yeah, when we cut when they were getting together, I thought we were going to see a whole bunch of downforce racing carbon fiber flying around.
Oh, man, Porcelli up the middle. He backs out of it. Nicholas Daly may have damage. He has fallen back now to the 5th position. Pick up Everett Paddock, who has just come around Daly. Daly's now finally going to be able to slide in line right in front of Carl Lemkool. But, man, this actually is really interesting here because now these guys are going to have to actually work together to get caught up to Carter Lundy.
Absolutely. The way that they were already grouped up on the backstretch and Lundy just had that clear track, there's every chance that he is outside of draft range already. If he could just keep it clean and everyone else keeps on jockeying for position in the back, Lundy has this in the bag.
Yeah, he basically just has to not screw it up. We'll bring up the side-by-side box here, show you the race leaders in the lower box. They're nowhere close to each other at this point. We're going to follow along with the best battles on the racetrack. The other partner in the law firm, by the way, checking in the comments, Sean P. Malloy Esquire, saying, would love to be racing. Boo. I feel you, buddy. We miss you having out here. Uh-oh. 90210, no, we cannot play Rolling Start from Daytona, USA for the first lap. I'm not getting the copyright strike. That would be absolutely epic, though. Carl Lemkuhl kind of sandwiched here in between Nicholas Daly and Richard Holt. They've gotten single file, and Ted Burns is starting to make up a little bit of ground here on Carter Lundy. It's not a ton, but he's making it up bit by bit here, sitting right about 1 second. The gap between the two.
Yeah, he's really starting to pick it up, but Lundy is still pulling off purple laps.
Wait, 90210 says it's DMCA free. That can't possibly be. I'm going to look into that. I'm going to look into it. If it is, we'll do it. I will find a race that we'll do that on. Carter Lundy, lap 2, setting a new fastest lap for the race, 96.750 miles per hour. Lap time of 1 minute 24.391 seconds. Everett Paddock, David Porcelli going to war here. Paddock around the outside. Porcelli's going to be there. Oh, man, that's tight. Paddock's going to have the preferred line into the downhill, though. Big wiggle there out of Porcelli. We need to make a shirt of that.
Right.
We need a big wiggle t-shirt.
That and unintelligible screaming t-shirt.
Yes. You know what? If you would buy t-shirts from us, let us know in the comments. I will consider getting merch made. There's no way that's a good idea, by the way. But I'm gonna end up with 1,000 t-shirts stuck in my garage. Carter Lundy, new fastest lap of the race, 1 minute 24.293.
I think Lundy is going to have to mess up for Burns to be able to catch up. That gap is just staying at 1.5. They're running away from the rest of the group, but Burns is not catching Lundy yet.
Yeah, they're nowhere close to each other at this point. In fact, it's up to 1.6. We'll show it here. It's a little bit deceptive. But that gap is huge between Carter Lundy and Ted Burns.
It absolutely is, and I think for this car it's just outside the draft envelope, so he would really have to. I don't know. He'd have to start breaking out some quali laps.
The fact that we don't get the emojis from Twitch make this comment absolutely hilarious. Yes. Continue what you were saying there, boys, while I'm over here screwing off thinking about making merch.
Yeah, like that little bobble coming out of turn 2, that just really played into Carter's hands. Like once Ted, I couldn't even tell which downforce car it was, that bobble coming out of 2, but when that happened, that was just one of the worst spots to do that, because this whole section is flat out. That's a lot of straightaway that you're just hemorrhaging time on. That is the second worst spot to have a bobble on that track, next to that one right there. So once that happened and they got 2x2, it was kind of all she wrote.
Well, and Christian, this really becomes a factor in this race now because, like James said, unless Lundy makes the mistake, this thing's in the bag. But that makes it a little bit difficult on these drivers. This is an 18-lap race. We're almost twice the distance of the USF race that some of these guys just ran. You're talking about a significant amount of time where you're basically just hot lapping.
Absolutely. That's where concentration is really going to come into play. You know, you can't, even though Lundy has that clear track ahead of him, you still gotta be on your toes. You still have to hit your marks. You still have to hit those apexes. You still have to really pay attention to how your tires behave and how the track behaves. And honestly, from start to finish, Lundy looks like he's doing that because he is just pulling out purple lap after purple lap. I have yet to see a purple time by anyone's name in this race yet, and he's still pulling away from Ted Burns. We're not even halfway through the race yet, though, so there's still a lot to play for.
Yeah, we've seen Ted make the mega run to cut down out of draft range gap before, but I don't think it's going to be this time again.
He's going the wrong way. The gap's over 2 seconds now between first and second. Everett is doing his thing out here. Carl Lemkuhl trying to hold off Richard Holt as Holt's going to make the dive down to the inside. That's such a tough place to attempt to pass because the guy you're going after gets the preferred line. Oh, he can force you off the racetrack just like we saw there. Nagisa Yoshikawa really having to back out of it. Can we get an Attack of the Recycling Bin Monster shirt?
Oh, no, what we need to do is we need to take all the different pictures that you Photoshop JO69 in and just do like a mishmash of that. That's what'll sell.
We need an artist that can draw that as like a caricature, but it's Jason Owens holding a yard of beer in standing in a recycling bin. I like the way you think there.
Gotta give the people what they want.
Yes. We are here for the people, or something. David Porcelli getting into a little bit of a scrub here with Nicholas Daly. Even Everett Paddock starting to pull away here from Porcelli. I am quite frankly a little bit surprised that we're not seeing more movement. James, could that just be a factor of how much aero you have dialed into the set that you're going to kind of just end up, you're kind of stuck with what you got. And if you've got a higher downforce setup, you're out of luck here.
See, I feel like that with how this track is, and you're having a lot more tighter and low-speed corners compared to most of the other tracks on the schedule, I feel like high downforce isn't that much of a detriment. Because, like, this entire section right here, you need downforce to get through it, especially here. So, I would think that a higher downforce set wouldn't really hinder you as much as, say, Spa, but yeah, we're seeing a pretty big disparity from a lot of the field, which we're not used to seeing.
Trouble on the racetrack. Let's get you the Hot Shoe Racewear instant replay here. Brian Labarge and Matthew Gracie just a moment ago. Ooh. Not all that advised to make the attempt there. That wasn't. You hit him in the wrong spot, mate. He kept going.
That is what we call a self-penalizing move.
That was Martin Brundle when Michael Schumacher hit Jacques Villeneuve in '97. You hit him in the wrong spot, mate. Schumacher out of the race, and Villeneuve would go on to claim his first and only World Drivers' Championship that day.
And didn't he get disqualified from the championship period because of that? From the entire season?
Yes, he did.
He sure did.
That one occurring at Jerez in the season finale. One of the last, actually, I think it was the last European season finale we've had since that time.
Sidebar, very happy that Jerez is going to be added to iRacing. Phenomenal track.
That's true. Jerez is coming to iRacing. I am looking forward to that. There's a handful that are coming that the iRacing dev team has started to give some sneak peeks on. I am excited for what we could really have some pretty epic schedules coming out for 2023 season 2.
Yeah, that list that they came out with was pretty nuts. I'm excited to see what's going to be built off of that.
Let's get you another replay here. Simon Fell and Rod Eskew battling into turn 1. Oh, man. Oh, there's contact. Nicholas Daly goes around. Daly, Holt, Yoshikawa all got held up in a big way. Let's take a look at this one. Carl Lemkool involved in this one. There's a dive up the inside by Lemkool, locks them up. Little bit of a bump from Holt. Around they go. Oh, man, Richard Holt got away with some netcode friendliness there.
Hey, it looks like everyone got away with some netcode.
Well, maybe not. Carl Lemkool making his way down pit lane. But that has now taken the life out of every battle on the racetrack. We are more than a second separating everybody in the top 5. The lead for Carter Lundy as we are at the halfway point. Ted Burns is way back there. He's that little speck you saw just barely coming into the frame. The gap is 3.3 seconds for Carter Lundy. Do not give this man a chance to run away because he'll do it, and he's going to hide while he's at it, too. Pick up this battle between Mike Collar and Ryan Hammond. This is the fight for the 8th position. Hammond going to have the look up the outside as we are at the halfway point. Cross flags in the air, halfway home here at Okayama.
You know, you hate to see it when it happens, but sometimes that's how racing goes. And I mentioned it at the start of this race and of the little bit of a time skip of the USF2000 race. This is something that can definitely happen at this track. It's difficult to pass, but if you can keep it clean, it kind of drives a little bit like a short track. It's hard to pass, but if you can keep it nose to tail, that's when you can really start jockeying towards the end. But just couldn't make it happen this time around.
I mean, you can see it here. Ryan Hammond trying to pass on Mike Holler, wasn't able to get it done, and he lost about 6 car lengths in the process. Made up a little bit of that down the front stretch, but it's going to be another lap or 2 before he's even got a shot at making the pass.
Absolutely.
A little bit of a trouble there for Nicholas Daly. Nagisa Yoshikawa making up a bunch of time. He's going to make up more as they get down this back straightaway. Need Camargo checking in the comments saying Lundy is in another class today. We kind of figured that might be coming based on the outright pace we saw in qualifying, but my God, is this impressive. I mean, let's bring him up here and show him. Get the Hollywood logos up there all big on the screen because the guy has earned it.
And it all started right at the beginning of the race when they bunched up going into turn 2. That was all that he needed. That was all that he needed. He just had to get out of that draft range and he could just run away. He's having a brilliant run so far.
Yes, that is brilliant is probably the right word to use for the run that Lundy is having here tonight. I mean, I'm looking for battles here, and this is the closest I could come up with. Mike Holler and Ryan Hammond. And they're closing up. But I'll tell you what, just a couple, and Christian, you absolutely hit the nail on the head. A couple of slight bobbles was all that this race needed to get strung out and just not much going on with it.
And unfortunately, that's how it can happen at Okayama. It, you know, when it bites back, and it bites hard. Always does. It always does. It's an easy track to get the hang of, but it can be a pretty difficult track to really master and really get it right.
Well, and I'll tell you what, James, we've now called, this is our 10th race of the season. And for the first time, we have a race that we're not standing on the edge of our chairs and like our hair's on fire or something here. Oh, new fastest lap for Nicholas Daly, 97 mile per hour even. He's putting in the lap, but And we'll see if he can get anywhere close here. Let's take a look. He's caught up to David Porcelli. This is going to be a battle.
Yeah, now we got a scrap. I mean, I guess it's nice to have a break from those chaos races. It's good for your heart health, but I think we all agree we want to see those knockdown, drag-out slugfests. Although I'm pretty sure if we ask Carter Lundy, he's good with every race playing out like this from here on out.
Yeah, I think he'll be okay with it. We'll say it that way.
You know what driver in the lead wouldn't be?
Yes. Take a look here. Put the spotlight box up on Nicholas Daly. Running fifth, but he started second. Put in a great lap in qualifying. Fastest lap of 124.173. Has the fastest lap of the race right now. But it just may not be enough. And now every time he gets close here to Nagisa Yoshikawa, or excuse me, to David Porcelli, it's kind of dragging Nagisa into play here.
Yeah, like we haven't really seen many of these battles, so now we're finally starting to get the accordion effect that happens when you get some of these battles. And even still, it's not quite a battle right now, but it's enough for Yosh to finally get some draft off of cars ahead.
Yeah, the two cars are going to punch a bigger hole in the air, and that's going to help Nagisa gain the ground, and he's doing it here. And quite frankly, I think Nicholas Daly's starting to get this feeling of, I got to go because I'm going to be under pressure if I don't.
He really is. He really is. It can be difficult to really try to catch up to someone, especially if the person in front of you has those good exits. But if you can at least keep within that draft, you still have a chance. You still have a chance because the dirty air doesn't play as much of a factor on this track when it comes to cornering. At least not that I've seen yet. But it can still be really difficult to really set up a pass if you're not right on them coming out of the corner.
Yeah, you're not able to have those really easy draft moves like we see most of the season at the bigger, more draft block places.
Yeah, you're just not going to get the toe here. The draft it's important, but it's not like you're making the run like through a Rouge Radion and up the Kemmel Straight where it's just a full blast all the way up there. This is more, it's a shorter run and it's out of a corner that is slower, so you don't have as much time to build up the speed, even with these higher horsepower cars.
Whoa. Whoa, that's a bit
Interesting.
weird. Is Nicholas out of gas?
Yeah, I wonder if he's shaking the tank trying to get a little bit of extra fuel into the pickup.
Whoa, we got another voice in the booth. The Bizzler's here. What's up, buddy? Yeah, Nicholas.
What's up?
Nicholas Daly is slow, and this is interesting. It's almost like, yeah, I think if he was out of fuel, why wouldn't you come down pit lane though?
Yep. There comes the disco. He's out of it. No more fuel left in tank. No more go on the loud pedal.
Holy cow!
That is insane.
Now, does that put any concern in here for Ted Burns in second?
I would say so if we're correct, which knowing us, we're probably not. But yeah, this is interesting.
We'll bring up Teddy B in the small box here as we follow the battle between Mike Holler and Ryan Hammond. You hate it when you run out of the go juice.
Right? That's just the worst feeling.
Why don't you hit pit lane, though? That
Now,
almost
I
makes me
haven't
think
been
like
here.
it's an equipment failure or something, possibly.
Yeah, I wonder if it may have been connection, because we saw him blink
Blink it.
a couple times.
Before he discoed.
Yeah.
Now, I haven't been here for most of the night. What track are we at tonight? Is this Okayama? It looks
Yes,
like
it is.
I love Okayama. It's a fantastic track. Big long straightaways coming down, and then nice sharp Japanese corners. The Japanese know how to do it best when it comes to making these tight turns and making a good race.
Carter Lundy working his way through a little bit of lap traffic, but he continues to grow the gap. It's up to 3.5 seconds. Just getting around the car of Carl Lemkool here as we're down to 2 to go.
Carter Lundy, fresh off a Daytona 500 win
That's
last night
right.
in the NASCAR iRacing Series.
We did not mention that. That was one of the full-length Daytona 500s. Carter Lundy picking up a win in a 3,000-plus split race. The dude can drive everything.
We were talking to him like all during the week, like, hey, you don't want to do this. You don't have the plate racing experience, you know. Let me spot for you, let me crew chief for you, all of that stuff. And he goes out there, I couldn't hop in the race, and he comes out and sends a message, I won the damn thing.
Yeah, second win at Daytona, actually. He also picked up a win in his split in the iRacing Daytona 24 as well. So he's going full Jamie McMurray on the Daytona International Speedway this year.
You know, Jamie McMurray has never been a driver I thought was best in the world. But you're right. He won the Daytona 24 and he won the 500 in the same year. I mean, dude is...
And the Brickyard 400 in the
Yep.
same year as well.
Yeah. Dude is a damn good driver when it comes to the big races. And
Always.
he's a marathon athlete. He's got the world record on foot at the LA Coliseum.
That is a fun fact.
Yeah, really. I'm not sure where that comes from, but okay. We'll go with it.
No, he beat his own record this year.
That's insane. We got your race leader in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. The great battle here between Mike Holler and Ryan Hammond. Holler's going to be able to hold him off. Off the final corner, twin checkers in the air, an incredible drive from Carter Lundy. He picks up the win at Okayama. What a drive. My goodness.
Carter Lundy just on fire this week, but the race right now is for, what is this, second place?
No, this is the battle for 7th. Nobody is close to each other ahead of them.
Well,
Upwards
I'd
of
probably dedicate to Okayama.
3 to 6 seconds separating the two as
Drag
Mike
race.
Holler claims it.
But Mike Holler is going to get it. Well, that was a fantastic final 3 laps. I'm going to hop out of here. You boys have a fantastic night. And thank you very much for having me.
See you, buddy. That's hilarious. Ben Carswell saying Jamie Mack won the Coke 600 that year as well. Not as much as Jimmy Johnson, obviously. Sure. Carter Lundy picking up the win in U.S. Open Wheel C-Class Racing, the Indy Pro 2000 Championship. While he gets
Another
ready.
great drive.
Yeah, just a fantastic drive from Carter. Let's show you the race results here. 3.8 seconds over Ted Burns. And then another 6 back to Everett Paddock in the 3rd position. Nagisio Shikawa, David Porcelli, Stuart Vaughn, Mike Collar, Ryan Hammond, Stephen C. Thompson, Rod Eskew will complete the top 10 here this evening. West Shire coming home 11th, Simon Fell 12th, 13th to Brian LaMarche, 14th, Matthew Gracie. Nicholas Daly with the odd retirement there, finishing 15th. Richard Holt, 16th, 5 laps down. Carl Lemkool finishing 7 laps behind. And Alexander Wesley Hazelworth the law firm, finishing in the 18th position here this evening. No celebratory burnouts and donuts here from Carter Lundy on the front stretch. He is heading right to pit lane. All right. That's one way to handle things.
It's a baller move right there.
Yes, it is. So while we wait for, well, let's see, here we go. We've got them lined up here and ready to come in the room. Let me get the, let's see. Well, we'll get our instant replays ready to roll here, and then we'll bring up Mr. Carter Lundy, because my goodness, what a fantastic drive tonight from Carter Lundy. That was as big of a whooping as you're going to see here in the Indy Pro 2000 Championship. Carter Lundy, congratulations. That was, I think you would take every race the rest of the season going that way.
Well, hopefully the rest of the season goes that way, but next week we have Oval Week, so you're gonna have to see how that one goes. Yeah, it was a good race. I don't know what happened lap 1 to give me the gap that I got, but once I was out of the draft, then me and Ted were just pretty even, so it was really just if I made a mistake or not, which I didn't, so I was able to just maintain the gap and get the win.
You picked up the win. You picked up a bunch of points here tonight. Well, at least a handful anyway, 3 or so on Teddy B in the broadcast championships. Talk us through how you approach the rest of the season here, because you're getting the job done in the USF2000 series. How do you make up the ground here in Indy Pro if Teddy doesn't make a mistake?
Yeah, well, that's if it finishes like this, we keep finishing 1-2 in the Indy Pro. So I only gained 3 points on him. So if it finishes 1-2, 1-2 for the next 2 races, then I'll lose the championship by 3 points. So I'm gonna need him to finish 3rd or 4th in one of those, with me getting the win, or just outscoring him by more than 3 points. And I mean, anything can happen in Oval Week. I don't know how we're gonna rank up compared to the Oval guys. And then we have Watkins Glen, which is borderline, like probably gonna be like Spa with the draft. So anything can happen in that one as well. So we just have to play it by ear and lap by lap see how it goes.
Yeah, Watkins Glen will be exactly like Spa with the draft. So we're looking forward to that one. Man, we have some great tracks coming up here to round out the season. Well, congratulations on picking up a big win here. I mean, this was as dominant as you can be. Congratulations on it. And before we let you go, do all those big sponsor plugs and thank yous.
Yeah, well, I don't think I have Hollywood to thank. I'm not sure why I'm in a Hollywood livery on the stream there.
Yeah, that's both feeds actually. That's whatever you have set up in Trading Paints.
What?
Yes.
I have I have my wait, was it like that for the whole race?
Yes, it was.
That's weird.
It made a great discussion point though, because we're talking about old kart stuff. It was good.
Yeah, that's what is the livery actually? You guys got history on it.
Well, yeah, Mauricio Gugelman ran it in kart. Mark Blundell ran it.
The old Pac West colors.
Yeah, it was the old Pac West team.
Well, yeah, I'm not sure why that happened, but yeah, thanks thanks to you guys again for the broadcast. Going to be watching it back after, and thanks again to Team Watson Racing and Nagisa for making the setups this week, or sorry, well, every week I get the setups from them, and they're clearly working pretty well. So if you need an Indy Pro setup, you can check them out. And also, of course, simracingcenter.com, which I mean, it is the sponsor on the side of the car usually. So I'm not sure what happened, but yeah, go check that out. Thanks again, and have a good night.
All right, buddy. Well, thank you much. We appreciate you coming to hang out with us here. And let's bring up our runner-up finisher here tonight. A guy who went 7 spots up, 5 spots up, I guess. Started 7th, finished 2nd. Ted Burns with a great drive tonight. Talk us through the night, though, Ted, because the stack up at turn 1 is kind of what allowed you to get to 2nd to begin with.
Yeah, for sure. It was just playing it calm going in there and trying to pick the clean line through. And Nick had a little unfortunate wiggle there, and it kind of stacked up David on the outside, and I had enough leeway that I could cut in the side of him and find some clean track and be able to fight up there for P2. So that was huge. Just pay that off to being patient. But starting so far back with the mistake I made in qualifying. That just put Carter that much farther ahead, and so by the time I actually got up there in a second, he had a bit too big of a gap, and I could only ever match him on race pace. He was on it tonight, so I could never had a chance of reeling him in, especially without the draft.
Yeah, and this one really it may be the telltale race when it comes to the final point standings, because if he keeps winning races the way he is, you can't finish much lower than second or third. And rolling off seventh tonight, this one was a big one for you to at least lessen the damage a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. That was kind of my thoughts going in, is just to play it calm, be right there at the end, pick up any attrition, and so yeah, coming out with second is about as good as I could have hoped for, rolling off as far back as I did. So it was big night for the championship, and it's the championship's not one on your best days, it's one on your worst days. So if that's the one of my worst days, then I'll take it.
All right, bud. Well, congratulations on the podium finish here tonight. And before we let you go, do all those sponsor plugs and thank yous.
Yep, got to thank Downforce Racing. We're a little bit off in the setup this week, but we had a bunch of cars up there, qualified at least in the top 5, so that was huge. Thanks you guys for putting on a great broadcast, and thanks for everyone coming out, making the series so much fun to race.
All right, buddy. Well, thank you much. We appreciate the kind words from you, and appreciate you hanging out with us here for a minute. And now we'll bring up our third place finisher here tonight, Mr. Everett Paddock. And I tell you what, Everett, kind of after the first lap shenanigans, kind of ho-hum, you did your race, turned some hot laps, and came home with a nice podium finish.
Yeah, well, sometimes that's what's given to you, right? I didn't. Boy, Carter was in another zip code. I mean, Ted was a lot faster than me too, but I mean, I wasn't slow. I just didn't have anything for those guys.
Yeah, sometimes you have one of those nights where you take what you can get. In that case, you did it tonight. It's got to be, I don't know that demoralizing is the right word, but just watching these guys disappear on you, like you didn't even get a shot to really contend with what happened there at turn 1.
Yes, it's a bit. I won't lie, it's a bit demoralizing, right? But these guys are good, right? I'm obviously right now I'm kind of in the second tier, and I'm just happy to, kind of, pick up the scraps every now and then.
All right, buddy. Well, we appreciate you coming to hang out with us here for a few minutes. And before we let you go, make sure you say thank yous and do all the sponsor plugs.
Yeah, thanks for the broadcast tonight, guys. And thanks to my TNT teammates and the guys at Downforce for the work this week. Good stuff. Have a great weekend, everyone.
All right, buddy. Well, thank you much. We appreciate you coming to hang out with us here for a minute. And, man, as we go back to the live look here, this was an interesting race, to say the least here, Christian. I didn't see the incident at turn 1 being what would decide the outcome. But once it did, Carter Lundy took that opportunity and absolutely annihilated this field.
It was. And props to him for keeping it clean that entire time. And props to everyone else who was able to keep it clean. Because, sometimes when you lose that draft, you get a little bit relaxed and you just kind of cruise on a Sunday drive. But that's when the mistakes happen. And Lundy had none. He ran away with this like he needed to. Fantastic drive from him.
Yeah, it was a good one. But I tell you what, James, we did still see some good battles. The fights that we saw between Mike Holler and Ryan Hammond was good. This one was fun, and definitely looking forward to Oval Week next week. We're not going to see the same thing happen.
No, like we saw a handful of battles this race. We're going to see nothing but battles. And, USA provides such a different challenge because for the most part, a lot of the tracks on the schedule are, a little bit of pack racing tendencies, but you still have to wheel the car. There's no real pack racing at all. It's just pure just having to drive the heck out of the car. So It's gonna be difficult. It's gonna be difficult to pass. So we're gonna see a lot bigger gaps, a lot bigger trains, but a lot different challenge.
Yeah, this one was definitely interesting. Looking forward to Oval Week next week, Watkins Glen. I mean, we're down to just a few races left here in the season. But don't go anywhere. If you want to see the wheel banging insanity, it is coming up next in the USF2000 race. We are not kidding one bit. That race was absolutely wild. You don't want to miss it. But we got to get ready to roll over there. So we'll be right back. You are watching the U.S. Open Wheel Doubleheader right here on the National Racing Network.
I don't know why you're so sad. You've got a roof over your head.
Bro, you gotta stop with that depression stuff. That's a white people thing.
Escúchame, en esta casa, los hombres no lloran.
You alright?
It just feels like it's coming from everywhere.
Do you want to talk about it?
Thanks for hearing me out, bro. Appreciate it.
You can talk to me if you're feeling sad. Whenever you need to talk, I'm here, okay?
I'm Ryan Newman, and since I started with Indiana Donor Network and Driven to Save Lives, I found out that some people think that they can't be an organ donor. The truth is, anyone can sign up to be an organ donor.
Anyone?
Anyone?
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Anyone can sign up to be an organ donor. So don't count yourself out because somebody's counting on you. Go to driventosavelives.org and sign up today.
But my heart's going to you, Ryan.
Love that shirt.
Welcome back, everybody. More live racing action here on the National Racing Network as we're back to Stars and Cars of the USF2000 Championship, taking on the Okayama International Circuit. This place is incredible. First, let me do the introductions. My name is Chris Graham, joined in the booth by Christian Jasper. And Christian, you talk about how technical this place is. Michael Schumacher owns the track, record set in 1994 when the place was known as AIDA. 2.31 miles. It's a little fast, it's a little technical. There's a whole lot going on here.
Very much so. Personally, I really enjoy the track. I guess it's because it was the first track I went to when I first got onto iRacing. But as I started learning the track, it's difficult to master, but it's still pretty easy to pick up. It undulates like a track that you enjoy having those elevation changes. The corners, you can still get a hang of them. The track is wide, but to get them real right, you really got to nail your braking point, and you really got to nail your apexes, because while you can still use the straightaway to get that draft and to maybe keep with the car in front, it's not as easy to pass. And I would honestly be surprised if we have as much of a pack race as we did at, say, Spa-Francorchamps.
That's a really interesting point that you bring up there, because you wouldn't ordinarily think of some of these road courses as pack race type opportunities, but here we are. We're talking about pack racing, and sometimes you kind of go, maybe, possibly. I'm really interested to see what develops out of this race, because with the power differential as compared to the USF2000, or excuse me, to the IP2K cars, that really makes a difference. We've seen that come into play a couple of different times this season, where being just slightly down on power makes a huge difference in how this race plays out.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And with this track in particular, on the IP2K, setup can kind of make a bit of a difference if you want to go for a little more downforce to help you out through the corners, or if you want to try to go a little bit less downforce to have a bit of a balance between those long straightaways that you have, as well as trying to at least keep the car planted in the corners. While they might be able to catch you when you're getting in those corners, if you've got that good exit speed, they'll be able to pull away. With the USF2000, it's going to be a little bit different. If they can keep it clean, I think it'll still be really tight. But I feel like I'm probably going to get hit in the head with a brick for this. But to me, with the racing at Okayama, if you can keep it clean, sometimes it feels a little bit like short track racing. You're real nose to tail with everyone, but it's not as easy to make a move. You can't immediately pop out and make a guaranteed move unless you can pressure the person in front of you to make a mistake. And with the way the track falls away on you, it can be pretty easy to do that.
Well, we're down to 5 minutes left in the qualification session here, and we have got a whole lot going on. Let's take a look. We are following along with Ted Burns. He's in the big box. Carter Lundy in the small box on the lower right-hand corner of your screen.
Man, and 1:28 as a first lap. That's insane.
That is huge. About a tenth and a half up. Ted Burns, he's going to be good, though. 151 back. Well, 128.808 second lap for Ted Burns. Nicholas Daly, Nick Camargo, Rod Eskew. Your top five as it stands right now. Freddie Ingram, a new name to this series, at least to the broadcast, showing up here tonight as well. Some of the familiar names we also have here. Wes Shire is in this race. Good to see Wes making it into top split. The one I'm really interested to watch, though, is Nagisa Yoshikawa. He is, at least I don't think, he is not out on the racetrack just yet. But Nagisa was putting down some absolute monsters in qualifying. Actually, he is. We'll put him up in the bottom box here as we'll see Carter Lundy and Ted Burns complete their laps. Lap number 1 for Nagisa Yoshikawa will go on the board here in just a second. And the first lap for Yoshikawa will be 4th quick. Good lap for Nagisa, 129.190, but he's still a half second back. Even things like slight changes in weather conditions can really impact how these cars perform, as Carter Lundy goes even faster, 128.432. He's got a little over a quarter of a second on Ted Burns. Burns, lap number 2. Oh, it's quick, but it's just short. 4/100ths of a second back. Good Lord. Let's bring up Nagisa Yoshikawa to the big box. David Porcelli will get him up in box number 2. So far, only Miguel Lopez has not turned a lap in qualifications. Yoshikawa's lap is 3/4 of a second back in 7th. Now, but he's going to spin. Yoshikawa spins on the hot lap. That's it. He is done.
Oh, you hate to see it. You hate to see it. That's one thing that's real easy to do here in both cars, really. You can really get the back end of that car loose trying to put the power down coming out of a corner. It can be Okayama can be forgiving, but man, when it bites you, it bites hard.
David Porcelli going to be up to 8th quick, a full second off the pace here on lap number 1. We'll pick up Wes Shire here as he is working his qualification lap as well. Just little under 90 seconds left in qualifications. Can anybody get up close here to Carter Lundy and Ted Burns? Freddie Ingram is third quick, and he's 0.4 of a second back. We are going to have a great second pack race here tonight. And if they're able to stay tight with each other, good Lord, man, this could get really crazy.
It really is, especially if they're able to keep that nose-to-tail draft all the way through. And they can start really putting it down towards the end. This is going to get real spicy.
So let's see here. We'll pick up Wes Shire as he is making his way around the racetrack now, working on his second qualification lap, currently 10th quick on the board. Wes completes his lap and qualifications will be just about finished here. In fact, qualifications are done here at Okayama. Oh my goodness. This one's going to be good. Let's just say it that way. Call it like it is here. Just getting all the paint schemes updated here so we can show you all the fun stuff on the graphics here as well. Let's get ready. We'll show you the starting grid here. And on the pole for this one will be Carter Lundy. Lap time of 1 minute 28.432. 92 with a bunch of decimals mile per hour. Only 4/100ths of a second back will be Downforce Racing's Ted Burns. Row number 2 will have Freddie Ingram and Nicholas Daly. That's 2 Downforce Racing cars in the top 4, and they'll line up nose to tail on the starting grid. Ryan Hammond and Brian Labarge on row number 3. Hammond, a new name to the series. Labarge with a really nice qualifying run there for car number 11. Row number 4 will have Nagisa Yoshikawa and David Porcelli. Keep your eye on this row. A couple of drivers affiliated with Team Watson Racing. Starting about mid-pack, they're going to be fun to watch charge through this field. Rod Eskew, West Shire, a couple of good hot shoes here on road number 5 as well. Already just over 1 second back of where your race leaders will be starting, at least in terms of outright qualifying place. Row number 6 will have Carl Lemkool and Nee Camargo. Row 7, Ryan Beasley and Stephen C. Thompson as the field's going to start to roll away. Row number 8, Joseph Heath and Mike Prudhomme. All alone on row number 9 will be Tyler Stover and Miguel Lopez. Lopez not setting a lap in qualifications. While we have a second here, let's take a look at the point standings. We can actually pull the graphics up here. Short pace lap though, so we're going to have to do this one quick. Carter Lundy leads over Ted Burns here in the USF2000s. Great flags in the air. Great start by Lundy. Burns slots in line quickly as they head down towards turn 1.
Turn 1's really going to be a hot spot, especially on the first lap with the way that it falls away, because it's all downhill when you go on the front stretch. Even through turns 2 and 3, still going downhill. You are not going back uphill until the end of this straightaway.
Yeah, we had a really nice battle starting to shape up here with Nagisa Yoshikawa. Big dive up the inside. That was Carl Lemkool. He's going to work on West Shire. Lemkool went 2 for 1, getting around Rod Eskew, Indy Camargo. Stephen C. Thompson, Ryan Beasley, Miguel Lopez all having early issues here. Lemcool covers off the inside lane ahead of Rod Eskew. At the front of the field, Carter Lundy has called about 3-4 car lengths over Ted Burns. Freddie Ingram all over the back end of the number 1 machine as they make their way through this sort of twisty bit here. This is, Christian, you were telling me in the pre-race, this really could be where the race gets decided because it's very technical. You got to get it right, and it sets up into this final big corner and then the long straightaway. You absolutely have to keep the momentum up.
100%, especially when after you're coming up those 2 hairpins, that real stark uphill, it falls away real fast on you. It's honestly a little bit similar to Spa on the back portion of that section. The curbs really want to suck you in, but you can't take too much curb on it because they're a little bit raised as you get closer towards the grass. Wants to bottom out the car, and it will just keep it there like it's a slot car, but you'll be losing all sorts of speed. If you can keep that momentum going down those back 2 corners and get that launch on the straightaway, you're pretty much golden. But again, you got to keep the people behind you. It's gonna be pretty tough, but it's not impossible. You just got to keep it clean. This whole front group, that's exactly what I mean. Like those qualifying times, they were tight. It can look like a huge gap even if it's from 1 second to 2 seconds, but if you can keep it clean and keep that draft, you can stay with the pack.
Going on board here with Ted Burns as he is trying to chase down Carter Lundy. These guys have been putting on an absolutely incredible show all season long here. The points battle is fairly tight in the USF2000 championship. On the combined broadcast standings, I'll get the numbers pulled up on that one here in just a second. But Teddy B going new fastest lap, 92.269 miles per hour. Carter Lundy leading the standings in this one by 31 points over Ted Burns. The combined standings, though, significantly closer. It's a 19-point gap between Lundy and Burns. That's factoring in both the USF 2000s and the Indy Pro 2000s. And with the winner getting 15 points, this championship is nowhere near over, with even just a couple of races left to go. As we are in week number 10. Post-race, we will decide. Actually, I'm going to have to DM Christian here because we're going to decide which of the next major announcements we're going to make on what our new coverage stuff is for next season. But we'll get to that one shortly here. Still 8 laps to go in this USF 2000 race at Okayama. Things pretty quiet here at the head of the field. We'll slide back a little bit, pick up David Porcelli. He's going to work on Ryan Hammond. Now, your top 3 have not exactly broken away from 4th place Nicholas Daly, but the gap is sitting at right about 1 second, separating 3rd from 4th. I like that answer, by the way. So now, Christian, at this point in the race here, Carter Lundy doing a little bit of defending. I don't know that he needs to do that a ton here early on, but this is really a place where you're going to have a couple of passing opportunities that even if you do give up the lead, you're going to have a shot to get it back so long as it's not too big of a mistake.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The only thing is that it's going to be a little bit difficult to really set that up. You kind of have to give yourself a little bit of time to really work that, really work to set that move up to get that pass back, provided whoever just passed you in this case, it'd be Ted Burns or even Ingram. If they get past him, you know, if they can keep it clean, he can get past him easy. But we can see them. They're starting to break away from the rest of the pack, but they're still nose to tail. Even with Lundy's defensive moves, again, like you said, it's kind of like he doesn't really need to do that this early on in the race. He's just getting a little bit of pressure, but with how they're running and the times that they've got, I don't think Burns has a move on Lundy just yet. He's setting purple lap after purple lap, but he's got that draft, and Lundy's able to get out of these corners pretty well.
Yeah, Lundy, I
say that now, and then he's getting a run.
His last lap was a 28.546. His best lap is a 28.526. You're talking 0.02 of a second as Teddy B makes the big look outside. If he can make it stick, no, he can't. I say he was going to have the good line down into the left-hander, but no dice there for Teddy B. Man, he is going to be right up under that rear attenuator of Lundy, though. Lundy tries to break the draft. Burns looking outside. And, man, as these two get racy, that's going to bring Ingram really into this discussion. And Freddie Ingram is a guy that Carter Lundy has seen a good bit of this week. Ted Burns may not be as familiar with Freddie. That has to figure in at least a little bit, and I don't know where the guy behind me may try to dive bomb him.
Absolutely. And on that backstretch, that little short shoot before the left-hander on those pair of hairpins, Ingram stayed on the outside. He didn't follow the draft like Burns did for Lundy, so he's letting them duke it out while he's able to keep that pace. If anyone is going to pounce, I think Ingram is going to be the one to do a pounce. They're just too close.
Tire wear is not exactly an issue in these cars. These are very short races. Fuel isn't a concern. It's even fixed setup. So it's not like, I mean, you can see the car ahead, the lap car that's just ahead of them. That's Carl Lemkool. They're not making up a ton of time on him like you would expect to see. It's going to be interesting to see where this move has to get made, and I think it might be here. Teddy B was there with the outside move, just not enough, but he comes back up the inside. Lundy's got to give him room.
There it is. There's that pounce. What a pass.
Great move by Teddy B. Oh, man, Lundy and Ingram almost making contact. And with these switchbacks, now Lundy may finally be able to get clear, and Ingram's going to have to fall in line. But now Nicholas Daly is caught right back up to these guys, and that's also brought David Porcelli in. What was a 3-car battle is now 5 with what's going to be 4 to go.
This is where it's really going to start getting spicy. If they, crew chief is getting on that radio. 5 to go, nice and smooth. This is really where it's going to get spicy, especially since they can catch them up.
That was the best impersonation of crew chief I've ever heard.
This is going to be good. I still think Ingram is going to be able to make that pounce on both Lundy and Burns. If they keep duking it out like they have been, Ingram might have the line to take both of them. He almost got past Lundy on that last lap. It's not impossible to say that. It's not unlikely that I think he'd be able to do it.
Oh, man, Lundy's making the move. Little bit of a wiggle there out of Lundy.
This section right here, it has to be my favorite section. The way that the track falls away, but you're still able to keep the speed on it. You can take as much curb on the outside as you want until that final left-hander. It's so fun, especially when you're trying to catch up to someone. If you can get a good run on them, it can really pay dividends.
Man, this one is going to be fun to watch over the last 3 laps here as Ted Burns will now try to hold off Carter Lundy. Lundy gave him the opportunity to get to the inside. Well, it was outside into the corner. But with the way Burns was able to keep the momentum up, he then got the preferred line into the corner. He has to know that's probably where Lundy's thinking on that pass.
He's got to be, because again, this track is all about momentum. If you can hit that apex and get those corner exits, you can keep them behind you. They can be on your tail, but if you can take that pressure and get your corner exits right, you can keep that lead.
Let's see what Burns decides to do with breaking the draft here. I don't think he's going to do the same things we saw out of Carter Lundy. It's almost preferable to give up the inside lane. He's going to do it, and here comes Lundy up the inside. Can Lundy get him clear back to the left-hander? No, he cannot. Oh, they're tight off the corner. Who does Ingram decide to go with? Wow. Great duel here at the front. Now Lundy's going to look outside. Ingram's up to the inside. Man, we said it was a 5-car battle. How about 7 now in this lead pack?
Daly with a peek on Ingram. Everybody wants a piece.
A piece. You're about to get the whole pie here shortly. Down to 2 to go. Porcelli having the look on Nicholas Daly down towards turn 1. Oh, yeah, Daly had to back out of it there. He was going to slide wide. That's going to allow Ryan Hammond to come through. Man, Porcelli gave up so much time making that pass, though. And lap traffic could come into play. Now, Carl Lemkuhl is a really smart driver. He's going to be out of the way. The question is, where does he get out of the way?
In the middle of the track. There it is.
Yep, he pulls over off to the side.
He could do it. He could do it if he held his line, but man, that could have gotten dicey. Good on Lempool.
Where do we see the move? They're down to just a couple of quarters left in this penultimate lap. Lundy taking a little bit of a wide entrance there. He's trying to set up the big run off the corner.
I'm gonna call it. If Lundy doesn't make the dive into turn 1, he's gonna make the dive into the right-hander off of that back stretch. That's the only place that I can think of. Unless Burns somehow makes a mistake, here it is.
Wow, what a call. Lundy inside of Burns. Now he's going to be outside back in the corner, though. And where does Ingram decide to go? Ingram really could try to force the issue, and he doesn't. Maybe just a tiny breathe of the throttle. Man, Lundy really dove deep into that corner. We'll see if that's going to cost him, but I think it's going to have to be right here.
He is at the edge of the track.
Lundy tries the, oh, and Burns almost goes around. Big wiggle, Teddy B.
What a save by Burns.
He wrecked. He just didn't finish the job. Holy cow. Now Lundy's going to have to contend with Ingram.
Where did Porcelli come from?
Yeah, well, he got around Daly with these guys battling the way they were.
Hats off to
Holy
Porcelli.
cow. What a drive. Twin checkers are in the air. Ted Burns will claim the USF2000 win at Okayama.
That podium needs to take a bow. That was a fantastic race.
Oh, that was awesome. I'll tell you what, Freddie Ingram was right there the entire time. He was waiting to pounce. He made a couple of moves, but he wasn't squirrely at all. It wasn't like there was anything really out of hand or anything like that. Two guys that are battling for an overall championship sometimes get a little nervous around some unfamiliar faces. Freddie Ingram put on a hell of a show there out of third as well.
He absolutely did. He absolutely did. I think if it wasn't going to be Lundy or Burns, it would have been Ingram. It was going to be one of those three. They kept it clean the whole race. Fantastic run from all three of them to dying.
Oh my goodness, man, that one was fun. Let's get those graphics off the screen and show you your race results. Ted Burns by almost half a second over Carty Lundy. Freddie Ingram rounds out the podium. David Porcelli, Nicholas Daly complete the top 5. 6 through 10 going to be Ryan Hammond, Nagisa Yoshikawa, Brian Labarge, Wes Shire, and Ryan Beasley. Heading over to page number 2, Rod Eskew, Nick Camargo, Tyler Stover, Mike Prideaux, Miguel Lopez, Joseph Heath, Stephen C. Thompson, and Carl Lemkool round out your 18-car field here this evening. Man alive, that show was awesome. Thoroughly excited for this one. Let's bring our race winner in. And let's see here. We're going to queue up the instant replay. And let's talk to our race winner tonight, because my God, Ted Burns, you wrecked on that white flag lap. Talk us through how you didn't bin yourself, Lundy, and Freddie in the middle of that corner. That was incredible.
Oh man, I don't know. I saw Carter going to the outside, and then I saw Freddie making that late move up the inside, and I got a 3-wide call in the middle of the corner, and I just kind of froze. I mean, the car was rotating off the brakes, and I was starting to get in throttle. The rear end was all over the place. I just kind of threw the hands in the air and let the car drive out of it. And I don't know how we made it out of there contact free, and somehow how I was that far in front of him, but. Man, that was one hell of a last lap.
Oh my goodness, that was incredible. And I'll tell you what, the entire race was really good too. I mean, obviously Carter getting the early jump. Freddie was right there the entire time though. And I don't know how familiar you are with Freddie, but that can be a little unnerving when you're running for a championship late in the season, and then all of a sudden you've got to battle a face that you might not be as familiar with.
Yeah, that was definitely my mind. The only experience I had with Freddie in the past was back at Spa, and he was aggressive in trying to send it. So I was definitely driving quite a bit more in my mirrors when I was in second there than looking forward at Carter. So it was I was just hoping Freddie would play fair and keep it clean with us, and he did all race. So he was aggressive, but kept it clean. So props to him for that. It was a great race in the end.
Well, you're doing what you need to do here if you want to claim an overall championship. The USF2000 Broadcast Championship might be a little out of range, just based on the numbers with Carter finishing second here tonight. But on the official side of things as well, this has really been a great battle between you two all season. We got a couple of races left now to decide a champion.
Yeah, for sure. Every week it's coming down to the wire. It's all about maximizing the points, and if I can keep finishing in front of Carter, that's what I got to do to win the championship. Whether that's the overall, the iRacing championship, or what have you. I don't want to wish him any misfortune, but I had to miss Long Beach, so hopefully he can have a sort of a drop week in the USF here, so we can bring that championship down to the wire in the broadcast championship.
All right, buddy. Well, congratulations once again on the win here. And before we let you go, do all those big sponsor plugs and thank yous.
Yeah, got to thank Downforce Racing. We put in a lot of laps this week, so props to those guys for making sure we're all up to speed. And thanks to you guys for putting on such a great broadcast. It's so much fun to go back and watch each week.
All right, buddy. Well, thank you much. We appreciate you hanging out with us here for a minute. And now let's flip over and we'll pick up Mr. Carter Lundy. Man, guy who, great run tonight. Maybe not the way he would have wanted this thing to end, but I'll tell you what, you got a hell of a show out of this one with Teddy B, and even Freddie was there for the whole time too.
Yeah, that was a very intense race, to say the least. With Freddie right there. It was some good battling though. Me and Ted were going at it, making some good moves, but we couldn't really, I don't think, race each other to the fullest extent with Freddie right there, because, if one of us backs out to go for a switchback, he puts his nose in and we all go out. So we had to be a little bit more careful. But we still got some tight racing out of it. We were pushing each other really hard. And, Ted just got the better of us both, and he deserved the win.
I'll tell you what, it was a great move down into turn one that we're seeing here on the replay. Talk us through that last lap, because Christian even said it. If he doesn't make the move at turn one, Teddy knows where it's going to come later in the lap. Was that going through your head at all, that the pass hadn't been attempted in turn one, at least amongst you guys at the front? And you kind of had to do something different?
Yeah, so down that back straight into the hairpin, it's really difficult to pass on the outside because the corner is it's banked, so the inside is the much better line. And even if you brake late on the outside, it's really difficult to pull it off because you're taking a much longer route through the corner. So if you defend the inside well, or if you just put your car in the good place, then it's really hard to pass on the outside. Ted actually made it work on me there. That's when he made the move for the lead, I think, because I had a little bit of a lockup, but I knew that if he had the inside into the hairpin there, that I wouldn't really have a chance. So I went for it into turn one, and then we were side by side up towards turn two. And I would have normally backed out there and gone for the switchback, just got the run down to the uphill corner. But Freddie, again, he was right there and he had his nose in there, so I couldn't really go for a switchback. So I had to just send it around the outside, and then yeah, into that hairpin. Freddie went for the three wide move, got a bit chaotic. Ted locked up the rear, and I almost went around the outside, and then a little bit of chaos, but he stayed ahead and I stayed in second.
Well, I tell you what, it was a fantastic show tonight. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. And before we let you go, do all those big sponsor plugs and thank yous.
Yep. Thanks, of course, you guys for the broadcast. Going to be watching it back as usual. And thanks to Team Watson Racing and Nagisa for the Indy. Well, I guess we're not even in the Indy Pro setups yet, so no need. But yeah, thanks for the broadcast. And if anybody wants setups or coaching on iRacing or the F1 games, any sim racing, then check out simracingcenter.com. And yep, I'll see you guys in the next one. Hopefully.
All right, buddy. Well, thank you much. We appreciate you coming to hang out with us here for just a couple of minutes. And man alive, Christian, I'll tell you what, we got a heck of a show out of this one. Oh, God, that was awesome. Not often we get to see three cars battling. I say not often. We don't do this every week, but it's so cool to see these cars kind of week in, week out, putting on just incredible racing, both the D-Class cars and the C-Class.
It is. It really is. And Okayama, I feel like it's another one of those tracks that's just it's a gem that's just kind of hidden in the iRacing menus, even though it's a free track. It's probably one of the first road courses you can get on, but it's a great track to race on. And honestly, almost any race that I've had here, I've yet to be disappointed with it, even if I take myself out.
Yeah, the elevation changes, the variety and the types of corners, just so much good here about Okayama, and quite frankly, two really good cars to put on it. Another really good car that you're going to be able to see right here on the National Racing Network. It's announcement time. I have been longing to bring these cars to our airwaves, and it's finally going to happen. Every Thursday afternoon at 4 p.m. in the East, we're doing Euro time slot work, baby. Lotus 79s are coming to NRN. Oh, I can't wait. I am so excited. One of my favorite cars on the platform. If it's not the U.S. open wheel cars, I want to drive the Lotus 79s, couple others. Man, these cars are fun. They're great around the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. I am so jacked up. We're going to get the Lotus 79s out here.
It's going to be great. It's going to be great. It's a nice little callback to history, and just the scream of those engines, no matter where you're at, it sends a shiver down your spine. It's awesome.
Yes, it does. And they will have a custom graphics package. The car is from 1978. The broadcast is going to look and feel like it's 1978, too. Some throwbacks to old CBS sports coverage, maybe some Wide World of Sports type stuff. It's going to have the look and feel of 1979. I might bring out bell bottoms just for week one here, the Lotus 79s. That'll be every Thursday afternoon, 4 p.m. in the East. Next week, we have another announcement. Week 12, we have another one. Oh, I am so excited. In fact, I think I even know the batting order that we're going to do these in now. So with that, though, it's time for us to get the heck on out of here. This one was a fantastic run tonight for the cars of the USF2000 Championship, coming to you from the Okayama International Circuit. Christian Jasper, thank you very much for hanging out with me tonight, man. I appreciate the help, and As always, for everybody here at NRN that makes these shows happen, my name is Chris Graham. Thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight, everybody. We will talk to you all soon. See you later.